This is Rendezvous with the Ramey family. The girls and I are a throuple on board our Albert 30 Liberty Call. We're exploring the West Coast and all the Channel Islands. This is Chapter 1. We're dropping our hooks at all the cool spots as we save up every penny to move on board our forever boat. Welcome aboard. This is by far my new favorite place to anchor a boat. Yesterday we had beat up wind from the California coast all the way to Santa Cruz Island, and it was a hell of a sail. We had dropped our anchor at Smuggler's Bay for the night, but in the morning we woke up and motored straight to here, Potato Harbor. Now I have no idea why they call it Potato Harbor. The name definitely doesn't suit the majesty of this place. Maybe it's because of how it's shaped, but that's a guess. What I do know is, it's absolutely gorgeous. And for those of you who do know how to chart a course, here's exactly where it is. And I hope you make time to experience this place for yourself. Whatever it would cost you, it would be worth it. Pulling into this place, it's hard to believe it's just a puddle jump from the coast. I found myself looking up in every direction. As we pushed further into the cove, the water went from a deep blue to a turquoise green. And for the first time in a very long time, I forgot about everything else in my life and just lived entirely in the moment. First time jumping into the Pacific Ocean off of a boat. Jeff already did it. It'll stay on if you hit record or not now. I just hope all these black things underneath me is kelp and not sharks.
I stepped on something that moved. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Out in the sand.
You going back to shore or you going back to the boat?
Going back to the boat.
Now that was a hell of a swim. I've been swimming for a while. I still can't touch the bottom. Whew. This is definitely my new favorite place. It is surrounded by a really beautiful rock face. I wish the girls didn't have the schedule they have. We can come out here a lot, stay out here longer. I gotta rest before I try to swim back. I'll run out of steam halfway if I just try to do it now. We're the only people here. I mean, stuff like this is priceless. The sun is warm, the wind is cold. The water's perfect, and there isn't anyone around. Potato Harbor is a secret gem. Time to go back, but that seems like such a long swim against the current going back, man. I almost wish I threw a fender in the water. Oh. We'll just do this and not think about sharks. Hold on, don't yet. So Potato Harbor is interesting because it's a really sweet spot, but apparently you don't want to spend the night here. Something happens to the tide, the wind usually, which makes it risky for you to stay the night. So, I mean, there's the opening of the harbor. That's the only way out. The wind is coming from that way, which means the swells are now coming from that way. So it's a great place to have lunch. It's not a good spot to have breakfast the next morning, if you know what I mean. You don't want to stay here because it will eventually, it's possible, if you don't anchor correctly, even though it's very easy to anchor here, that you'll be pushed into shore. So it's called a lee shore, not what you want. So it's going to be about that time. The wind's changing. It's time to say goodbye to Potato Harbor. We're going to shoot back out and go back around and go to probably Little Scorpion Anchorage. So we'll go right past Poop Rock and then anchor down next to Poop Rock. But I got to get this stupid anchor up before I do that.
I definitely didn't want to leave yet. I didn't really have a choice. If you couldn't tell, the wind is starting to pick up, which means it was time to leave whether I wanted to or not. Now, I like this Allberg 30, but there are two things that I really can't stand about it. One, it's ridiculously uncomfortable below deck. And two, it's also famously underpowered when motoring. And I didn't want to test which one was stronger, the incoming Tide or the Volvo Penta on board. And because my money was on Mother Nature, we took off while we still could. Once we were out of the cove and a little bit away from the shore, we knew we were on the windward side of the island, so we decided to unfurl that head sail, and right when we did, it ripped.
Bring it back in.
Yep.
I knew we got a tap. See how my Jenny just ripped. That furling head sail's done. I'm gonna have to take it in before it gets worse.
Beating upwind on the way to the island yesterday really took its toll on it, and to be fair, that sail was never meant to be a furling sail. It had been turned into one, and it doesn't have a sun cloth to protect it, and it was on its last legs anyway. It was kind of disappointing because that meant we were going to have to motor the rest of the trip, and I really, really hate motoring. I much prefer sailing. We had originally intended to just go straight to Little Scorpion, which was on the far side of Poop Rock from where we were at, but I did notice that Big Scorpion was surprisingly empty, and it looked pretty calm. So I thought, why not drop the hook here? There's a bunch of island packers out here that are kayaking, and it looks pretty chill.
Every time I come out here, there's a group of island packers on kayaks out here. One of them just yelled at me about flying the drone. Just tried to swat it with her paddle, which was that's a first for me. But really pretty today. The water looks good. There's kelp beds everywhere. There's a bunch of people on kayaks, and we're probably going to be the only boat here by sundown. The island packers' boats will be gone, and then there'll probably be just us and that guy over there in Little Scorpion Anchorage. So we're either geniuses and we know something that no one else knows, or we're idiots and everyone is somewhere more comfortable.
So it turns out the other guy was right.
That's Poop Rock. That's the rock between Big Scorpion Anchorage and Little Scorpion Anchorage. We're gonna go to the other side of Poop Rock because it might be a little bit less rolly, just given that right there is the leeward side of that rock. And we were on the windward side of the rock earlier, so probably a little bit smoother over here. So we'll get that shot probably. I'm gonna go to bed here.